Hi, this is my presentation on utmost good faith. So we'll start with what this doctrine actually is. So it's the doctrine of utmost good faith. I'm not going to try to pronounce the Latin, but that is it in Latin. And it's a minimum standard in financial transactions. It legally obliges all parties in the contract to be honest, not misleading, and not withhold critical information. So the case at hand for this assignment is Carter v. Boehm. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. So the facts of the case are Carter was the governor of Fort Marlborough, built by the British East India Company, and he took out an insurance policy with Boehm against the fort being taken by a foreign enemy. Multiple witnesses testified, but one specifically testified that Carter was aware that the fort was built to resist attacks from natives, but would be unable to repel European enemies. And he knew the French were likely to attack. So that is the main crux of this case, that fact right there. Carter was aware. The French attacked, and Boehm refused to honor the indemnity, so Carter subsequently sued. So the holding of the case was twofold. Lord Mansfield held that Carter owed a duty of utmost good faith to Boehm, and he was required to disclose all facts material to the risk. So that was where that piece of the facts from the earlier slide come in. Lord Mansfield also held that the duty was reciprocal. If the insured vessel arrived safely, policyholder could declare the policy void and recover the premium. So this is a quote from Lord Mansfield. If the objection that he was not told is sufficient to vacate it, he took the premium knowing the policy to be void in order to gain. He drew the governor into a false confidence, knowing at the same time that the indemnity to which the governor trusted was void. So the utmost good faith clause ensures that both parties in the contract are being honest and putting forth the material facts to one another. They have to be both understanding of the other's side, and they cannot be misleading. Neither one of them can be misleading. It's not just the person bringing the offer. It's not just the person accepting the offer. It has to be both parties being honest and in good faith, telling each other what they know about their side of that contract. So this is another quote, and this is really just, this is the main piece. Insurance is a contract based upon speculation. The special facts upon which the contingent chance is to be computed lie most commonly in the knowledge of the insured only. The underwriter trusts to his representation and proceeds upon the confidence that he does not keep back any circumstances in his knowledge to mislead the underwriter into a belief that the circumstance does not exist, and to induce him to estimate the risk as if it does not exist. Good faith forbids either party, by concealing what he privately knows, to draw the other into a bargain from his ignorance of that fact and his believing the contrary. So again, it's a reciprocal thing. Both parties have to be involved in making sure that they are informing the other party of all material facts. And what those material facts are, it pertains to what the contract is about, and if there ends up being some sort of breach and a party is suing the other party, then it is up to the trier of fact to figure out what those material facts would have been. So the judgment in this case was for Carter, and Lord Mansfield found that Boehm knew or ought to have known that certain risk of war existed since the political situation was public knowledge. And this slide right here is really the answer to the question for this week's module. This case explains the necessity for both parties to disclose all material facts before entering into an insurance contract. The utmost good faith clause is the basis of trust in a contract. Carter v. Boehm has been used or cited in some way, or at least has been the holdings, the information that came from it has been used in subsequent cases, or again has been cited outright in subsequent cases, which they include Pawson v. Watson, Manifest Shipping Co. Limited v. Unipolaris Shipping Co. Limited, DaCosta v. Jones, and HIH Casualty and Business Insurance Limited v. Chase Manhattan Bank. This is why Carter v. Boehm is so important, and why I believe it really was a turning point in contracts. The Pawson v. Watson was the first really to utilize what was said in it. That case was 12 years after Carter v. Boehm, and then Manifest Shipping Co. Just outright was saying Lord Mansfield said this, and this is really why we need this piece. This is why it was so important for this piece to be brought out, and that's a 2001 case. So the utmost good faith clause is still here. It still pertains to English law. We have it here. We ensure that people who are parties who are entering into a contract with one another are making sure that they are being honest with one another and not misleading in any way, because that could be deemed as fraud. And then therefore there's a breach of contract. There can be multiple lawsuits, criminal charges potentially. I mean, the list goes on and on. So Pawson v. Watson was 1778. And they said that, but as by the law of merchants, all dealings must be fair and honest. Fraud infects and vitiates every mercantile contract. Therefore, if there is fraud in a representation, it will avoid the policy as a fraud, but not as a part of the agreement. So, right there, fraud, fair and honest. So they're pulling these terms from Carter v. Boehm. And then the 2001 case of Manifest Shipping Co. Lord Mansfield attempted to introduce into English commercial law the principle of good faith. It only survived in limited classes of transactions, insurance being one. So he tried to establish this in many, many different forms of contracts, many different types of contracts. But as we saw in Carter v. Boehm, that was a specific type of contract, which was insurance, and that's where it has survived, as Manifest Shipping explains. And then the other two cases are other cases that have just utilized good faith from what Lord Mansfield has had mentioned in Carter v. Boehm. So it lives on today, and it is a necessary part to ensure that parties who are entering into contracts together are not defrauding one another, and that they are really telling the honest truth about the material facts at hand. Thank you.